Alrighty, welcome back everyone, it's Garland bringing you another Neverwinter video, and today we are back on the preview server for another Mod 13 preview. Today we are going to be talking about the 5 new artifact weapon sets. So yes, there is 5 new sets coming in Mod 13. Not 1, not 2, but 5 different artifact sets. I do not understand why they included more artifact weapons in this module. As it sits right now, we've gotten a new weapon set for the past couple mods. We had a new set in Mod 10, we had a new set in Mod 11, we had a new set in Mod 12, and now we're getting 5 new sets in Mod 13. So I'm not understanding the logic behind releasing all these weapon sets every mod now. Hopefully that isn't going to be an ongoing thing. No one likes to only have a weapon set for a couple months before they're going to have to decide and replace it. Now, in previous mods, some of those weapon sets were not good, okay? Obviously, the Mod 12 set, not a very good set, but yet it's still there. It was an option for alternate characters, a cheap way to get decent statistics without a good set bonus. But here we are on Mod 13, and they decided to give us 5 new weapon sets. So today we're going to be showcasing the Warlock sets. That's all I could show you guys. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to start with the Tyrant weapons. Now this set is going to come from the hunts. From my understanding, the Tier 3 hunt, which is the equivalent of the King of Spines Tier 3 hunt that we had in Mod 12. In Mod 13, I believe the Tier 3 hunt is an actual undead T-Rex. And you're going to have to get a Tooth of the Tyrant. I don't know how many you're going to need or any of the information regarding this. Now, this is a pretty decent set. And it is going to be also exalted, which is going to be a new feature. Now, exalting your set is basically like vivifying in the past or upgrading it. So we have the Corpse Layer. Now it's going to have base damage of 1990, which is already an upgrade to previous sets. So you're looking at power, crit, and recovery on the weapon, and on your offhand, power, crit, recovery. Now the set bonus is at the start of combat, your damage, healing, and damage resistance is increased by 1%. For every 15 seconds you are in combat, these are increased by 1%. These increases are doubled if affected by a Trophy Hunter buff, which we're not certain what that is just yet, for a max of a 10% increase. So for 10 seconds, or I'm sorry, for 15 seconds, you're going to get a 10% buff. And I'm assuming it's going to be a 20% if it's doubled. Now, it could only be 10% doubled. We don't know just yet. It's going to need tested. But regardless, even if it's 10%, it's a fairly strong weapon set and an option for people to get, depending on if they want to do the hunting mechanics of Mod 13. Now, you do have the chance to exalt the Corpse Layer, which is going to increase your base damage to 2097, and the statistics, I believe, are the same, or do they go up? They go up slightly, but not very much. And the gear score, I believe, goes up by 10. 500 on the Corpse Layer, and the Exalted is, 520. So they go up by 20 when you exalt them. Now, we're all under the assumption that you're going to need X amount of resources from the new trowel, and you can only get those, X amount a week, right? It's probably the same setup as MSVA was, when vivifying your gear. We already know that you need items to upgrade this. We're going to assume they come from the trowel, and it all depends, it's going to be time gated on how long it's going to take. It could take 5 weeks to do one of these and 5 weeks to do the offhand. We're not 100% certain yet. Moving right on to the next set, we have the Primal weapons. Now this is going to be the same statistics as the Tyrant weapons. all of these sets, the Tyrant, the Primal, the Pilgrim, and the Pioneer, all have the same statistics, which I completely disagree with. We are on the preview server. I really hope that they adjust the statistical values of all these sets to make them something different. They all have different set bonuses, and that's the only thing that's different. However, all of the statistics are the same. And I highly disagree with that for the sheer fact that the Primal weapons, the Pilgrim weapons, and the Pioneer weapons, you can buy fairly early in the module. The Primal weapons you're going to get off the Seal vendor. I believe the weapon is costing 750 Braves of the Seals, and the offhand is going to cost 750 Brave of the Seals as well. So as long as you have Seals saved up, you're going to at least be able to buy one of these on day one of Mod 13. Now the set bonus for the Primal is going to be if you are hit or healed for more than 10% of your HP in a single blow, your damage and outgoing healing will be increased by 10%. So you're still only gaining a 10% damage increase, the same as the Tyrant weapons, but for this one, you have to get hit. Okay, so maybe not the best option. Yes, it's going to be easy to get. Is it going to be worth leveling up and using? That's going to be for you guys to decide. All of these weapons are going to be your choice. We'll go over what I'm going to consider best in slot at the very end, but I mean, it's all up to the user to decide. If you want an easy weapon set to get, the Primal's an easy weapon set to get. Moving right along, the Pilgrim weapons, you can simply just buy these Pilgrim weapons. These are the crafted ones. So someone has to craft these. This is not the Masterwork set. This is the Shulton, just profession set. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Totally disregard everything I said. This set, you can buy off the Zen Market. It says right here, it says the Pilgrim primary weapon is included with the Shulton Tiger, and the secondary is included with Enchanted Keys. So basically, all you have to do is buy this set off the Zen Market, and bam, there you go. The Deathbringer is going to have the same exact statistics as all the other sets. The only difference is going to be the set bonus. At the start of combat, your damage and outgoing healing will be increased by 1% for every enemy faced when starting combat to a max of 10%. If facing only one enemy at the start of combat, it's only going to be 5% for 1 minute. So if you're doing a single target boss, you're going to get 5% DPS increase for 1 minute. If you're doing multiple targets, however many targets there is, up to 10, you'll get 10%, which is on all the other weapons thus far is 10%, for only 10 seconds. So, again, a valid option for people. It gives people, another method to gain pretty much a decent weapon if they choose. All of these, again, can be exalted to increase their stats, but the set bonuses don't change. So even when you exalt them, like I said, there's not a huge statistical bonus in them when you exalt them. Now we're coming up to the Pioneer weapons. And I believe, let's see here. This one is bought from the campaign store. So with your extra Omeon treasures, you can actually just buy this from the campaign store. So yet again, you can get this set fairly easy, most likely. Once again, all the same statistical values as all previous sets. However, the different set bonus is going to be you are granted an increased stat for each member you have in your party. So when you have a party of 5, you're going to gain 1,000 power, defense, recovery, crit, and armor pen, which isn't too shabby. Now this is probably the weakest of the total sets, however. You want that percentile-based damage over raw statistics, obviously. But yet again, this is still a very valid option for alternate characters. This is going to be very easy, most likely, to obtain this Pioneer set. Now, if we want to go into what I'm considering best in slot for Mod 13, is going to be the Masterwork set. This is going to be the Stronghold Tier 3 set, if you want to call it, or the Masterwork 3 set, whatever you want to call it. This is going to be the Masterwork set, guys. If we look at it, it is the same statistics as all the other artifact weapons that I just showed you guys, but the set bonus is a little different. Your first action when starting combat will grant you a unique ability. So when you enter combat and the first thing you cast is damage, your damage is automatically increased by 10% for 10 seconds. Now, if you heal an ally, you're going to get healing 10% in your recovery. If you dodge, block, sprint, or shadow slip, your damage resistance and run speed are going to increase. So you want to make sure, if you are using this Stronghold set, that the very first thing you're casting in combat is some kind of damaging ability, if you're a DPS, obviously. Now, the thing about this set is if you read at the very bottom, it says the activated buff will refresh while in combat with the use of a daily power. So every time you use your daily power as a DPS, the first thing you want to cast is damage. So however many dailies you can spam, you're going to refresh that 10% overall DPS. That's why I'm going to consider this set best in slot, because it's going to have, depending on how fast your AP regeneration is, you can get damn near an 80-85% uptime on this 10% extra damage without very minimal changes as to your rotations. You're just going to have to remember that the first thing you're going to have to cast after a daily on a DPS is a damaging ability. You don't want to cast a daily and then use a dodge ability, because then you're going to screw up the whole artifact rotation most likely. So that's why I'm considering this best in slot, as it is on paper. Full disclaimer, we're on preview. Everything is subject to change. And then when you exalt this version, the base damage and the statistics will go up a little bit. However, as mentioned before, the set bonus does not change. So like I said, right now as it sits, we're very early in Mod 13 on preview. I do hope they adjust some of these sets. There's no reason that, let's just say, not a brand new player, but a newer player to the game that's now working on Mod 13 stuff, and they can come right into the game and just buy this set off the Zen market when it has the same stats as the Tyrant weapons, which are going to take probably a good bit of farming to obtain. The same thing with the Stronghold weapons. If we're going to consider the Stronghold weapons best in slot, their statistics need to be higher than something that you can just clearly buy. You can buy the Pioneer weapons with Omar treasures. The Pilgrim weapons you can buy right off the Zen store. The Primal weapons you can buy with Seals of the Brave. And the Tyrant weapons are going to come from the Hunt. Now, doesn't it make logical sense that the harder it is to obtain one of these weapons, the more statistics they have on that weapon, right? Or am I just wrong in assuming that? So that's my own personal opinion and general feedback on that issue. I don't think it's right when you have clearly what's going to be the best in slot Stronghold weapons, and they're going to have the same statistics as a weapon that you can just buy right off the Zen marketplace. Now, of course, they all do have different set bonuses, and the bonuses are what differentiate them from each other. But I'm talking about raw statistical bonuses here. Like I said, that's my own personal opinion. Please feel free to leave comments below about any of these. I will very quickly just go, and we will look at the skins for this. So this is the Tyrant set. Doesn't look half bad, to be honest. The Primal is like a golden idol face looking thing. And then they just reused the same stuff. They couldn't even come up with 5 different skins, guys. So the Pilgrim weapons have the same as Primal, unfortunately. And the Pioneer is actually different. The Pioneer is like a... it has a scepter on the top and maybe a dagger on the bottom. That actually looks decent. But then they did go back and reuse the same exact skin for the Stronghold set, which is that idol again. So there is 5 new artifact sets, weapon sets coming in Module 13, and they couldn't even give us 5 different looking skins for them. So, like I said, I don't understand the logical reasoning behind giving us 5 different sets in one module update, especially since we had artifact weapon sets in the previous 3 mods already. But hey, you know, it's an MMO, it's an evolving game. You're expected to get the newest stuff and upgrade the newest stuff to have the newest and shiny stuff. Now, like I said, the only thing I don't agree with is, as it sits right now, the current base statistics on it, you know, they should be adjusted to reflect difficulty levels in obtaining them. So that's going to wrap up the video today, guys. I just wanted to go over the 5 new weapons. If you have any questions about the weapons, please feel free to leave me a comment below, and we will see you guys in the next video.